Welcome to the sixth episode of Building with John. Today, I want to talk with you about a new movement that's emerging. A movement that I'm not directly part of it, but I'm supporting it. So imagine that you have a 9 to 5 job and you want to build your side project. You spend the day on Twitter checking what everyone is sharing in public, and you want to be one of them. You want to be an indie hacker. But you can't. Your boss wouldn't be happy if you do that. That's what's happening with my friends B and Matt. We are now starting a new journey building Growsport, but they have their own boring 9 to 5 job, and they cannot be associated with this new project that we are starting. So we are starting a new movement, the Building Undercover. So what is exactly this Building Undercover movement? This is a movement that is very close to the Building Public one, the one that I'm part of it, but without revealing your own identity. The goal is to build your startup transparently and sharing the behind the scenes with everybody else. What you have learned, the challenge that you faced, how you have overcome them, and the successes that you achieved. But because you have a 9 to 5 job, you cannot reveal who you are. There's no really recipe on how to build in public. Each builder has their own strategy and the way to do it. And that's the beauty. Everything is special. Everything is different. You adapt it to your personality and way of being, and that's what will create the connections between these different builders. However, by not having a face, you still want to create these connections, and you still need to be open and be transparent. So that's what exactly we are trying to do with the Building Undercover. So it's exactly the same thing, but without your face. However, we know that doing it in public and with your face has much more rewards than doing it undercover, because you don't have the face, you don't have the voice, you don't have the video. These are really crucial in creating those connections with the other people. But this is the closer that you can get if you have a 9 to 5 job that blocks you to be more transparent. This is exactly what B and Matt are trying to do. Be active, be transparent, be present, but without their own face. And that's what I'm trying to support them and trying to leverage and making it more visible to everybody else. Because I felt the same when I started here. I'll tell you a little bit more later on during the podcast. How did we come to this concept and this movement? So a few weeks ago, I started this new project, Growsport, with them, with my friends B and Matt. We knew each other from the past, and we started to work together on this project. And since the beginning, we talked very openly with each other, and we knew that they couldn't be public about this project, because they have their own 9 to 5 job. But we have to find a way for them to engage with the community, to find relevant people around our product, and to be active. I couldn't be the only one to be the face of this project, especially because I'm not expert in the performance marketing and growth domain as they are. They really are the experts, so they need to bring this expertise and create these connections. And we need to find a way for it to be possible, even if they are hidden. And after brainstorming together, we found that the best way to try out would be to be involved in the community so that they can really be active. And we are starting now with this new movement. It's like building in public, but undercover. So let's see how this will go. I truly believe that this can be successful, but it's still challenging because the face, the voice, and the video are really important in this space. So let's see how further they can go into growing their own undercover face. And if this is successful, I truly believe that others will follow, because there's a ton of people wanting to be public about their side hustle, but they can't. They fear the impact of their 9 to 5 job. And I was in this position when I started Virtually. I was coding until late, just after finishing my 9 to 5 job, which is fine, which is perfectly fine. That's why it's a side hustle. But I could not be active. I could not be public about it, because I was always fearing what could be the impact on my daily job. I barely share anything on LinkedIn. Back then, I was not using so much Twitter, but I really fear what would be the impact and how would they react if they would see that, and a lot of questions. We always are thinking what others think about ourselves. So that doesn't help. But when we started to get some traction and some customers, we decided now we need to incorporate our company and we need to be serious about it. So I checked my working contract and I had a clause saying that I need to ask permission if I want to create a company. So that's what I did. But as an employer, I perfectly see their position. They wouldn't be happy for me to have my own company, be distracted, be working on the side while having and being paid by them for my 9 to 5 job. Usually people think that this is a full-time job. And when you mean full-time, your full concentration should be on your job, not 8 hours per day job. That's a contractor. But when you are employed, you are thinking to be a full-time employee. So the mindset is completely different. I was even talking today with the Morning Maker Show community, and we were talking about this topic, and we came to the word slavery, and it's kind of it. Full-time job is kind of a slavery in that sense, because your mind should be fully focused on your full-time job, even if you are not during your working hours. Now we are seeing more and more companies much more open to side projects and promoting that to their engineers, which I truly support and think it's very good, because this brings different knowledge, different diversity. It allows the company to be taught on the engineers community. So I really support that. But these are the minority of the companies. So if you're in one of those companies, just leverage that. But if you are not, there are ways for you to try to emerge from the void and try to see where you can grow yourself, still being hidden. But back then, I had to share that with my employer. And what they decided to terminate my contract. And I think this was the best thing that could have happened, because then I could focus really on growing virtually and growing my entrepreneur journey, which I'll never go back to a 9 to 5 job anymore. So it was a really good decision, and I'm happy that it happened like that. But how would I have done differently if I would start again? And how can you do that even if you have a 9 to 5 job? I think to start, I'm not talking about not being professional and not working during your work times. I think you should keep your professionalism and split what's your 9 to 5 and what's your side hustle. But you should still be active and present on your social networks and create your image and your personality, even if it's undercover. So the first thing I would do, I would create a specific profile on X or Twitter and create a story around it. Leverage the fact that you have a boring 9 to 5 job, even if it's not too boring, but still, this can still sell. Talk about your expertise. Really focus on your core expertise and share what will be the part that you'll be focused on. Really, I think in a hidden or undercover profile, you need to be very clear what are you adding to the space, because people will have much less trust on you because you don't have your face. So you need to really be clear, and you need to leverage yourself from the content and not so much from who you are. So select a clear niche that you are focusing. Building Undercover is much more about the content than about yourself. So you need to focus on that, on your own content. Be clear on your specialty so that people can relate with themselves. Even if you don't have your face, people can still relate with the content if the content is really good. So that's what you really need to leverage more and more. But it's much harder, so keep in mind that it's much harder without a face. The connections are weaker, so you need really to leverage your focus in order to be noticed and emerge from the voice. Then you need to focus on creating your own audience around your core expertise. For example, Mass is a gross marketing expert. So he can leverage that expertise and really have his account focused on that specific niche. It will allow him to really be noticed and focused on a specific type of content. On the other side, B is a product manager, and he is focusing on the connection between product management and growth, which is also linked to our own project that we are starting to measure and optimize your SaaS marketing effort. So everything is connected, but they are really focused on a specific topic and niche. And that's, for me, it's the only way for you to leverage an undercover profile. And when starting, you don't need to focus so much on the posts that you do on your own feed. You should focus more on the type of people that you are trying to create connections with. So find profiles on the niche that you try to tackle and try to reply to them, try to give value on each interaction that you have. Don't reply with generic content, but be meaningful with each addition that you bring. And by bringing meaningful content, people will start noticing it. And that's what I need with a specific niche. Try to focus on accounts that are on your core expertise. Again, your content is your face that you don't have. So be precise with it. Interact with the others via the replies, connect with them with DM, learn from what they are doing, and share what you are trying to achieve with this undercover profile. Then you can also start sharing more about how you are addressing your problem, creating your own project, and try to relate your core expertise with your own product that you are building and start being more into the building in public mindset. This is not easy, but I believe that this is possible. Now looking back to my previous past, to what B and Matt are doing, to the accounts that I followed during the last months, I now value much more those accounts that are hidden behind an avatar. At some point, I've been ignoring all those hidden people behind avatars. I was thinking to myself, building in public is to be transparent, to be yourself as you are. So why are you hiding behind an avatar? But now with this experience and this movement, I'm thinking differently. I'm thinking if people are hiding behind avatar, there might be a reason behind it. So give the doubt. Give a second chance for the accounts that are hidden behind avatars. There might be a real reason and super valuable. Focus more on the content and what's being shared, and not so much on the person itself. I'm more on building in public. I'm really more into this, creating these connections, which is really crucial. But there's much more than that. And you can still create connections with avatars that afterwards become real people. Because at some point, these undercover people will need to reveal themselves. And even if they keep undercover, you can still behind the scenes know the other side and know what's happening behind and know the true story behind it. So I'm giving a second chance for all those accounts and all those people that are being hidden behind avatars. Because I truly believe that there are a lot of people out there trying to build in public, but they can't. So they are building undercover. And most of them are not sharing. Most of them are not being public about anything that they are doing. They are just consuming. But I want them to become more active, to share more, to come to the closer to the building public space. Because one day you'll get undercover. You'll be able to turn your side hustle into a full-time job and into a full-on project. So try to reduce this gap. Try to still be active and create your own personality, your own space in the public space, but hidden. And if you're building undercover, even if you're not sharing anything, don't stop yourself by just reading and clicking the like button. Send people a DM, start interacting with them, start chatting, start knowing more. And you'll see that you'll get some benefit, like we are doing with the Building in Public movement, but you'll still get some benefit. And that's it for this episode. It was fully about building undercover, a new movement that B and Matt are starting together with me on the Grow Sport project. We'll see where this will go. We'll see how far they will go. I'll try to leverage some of their content, try to also the fact that I'm public, trying to show that to others. Not sure if we'll be super successful, but we'll try and doing our best. So would love to see more people sharing more, even if they have their 9-to-5 job. And if that's the case, just share with us, start tagging and using the hashtag building undercover. And we'll see what we'll build from this and where we're going to go. And for our own project, we'll keep the research interviews that we started. We really want to understand the market, understand the needs, understand where the problem is. We know that there's a problem, but we need to really understand it so that we can nail it and build a product that will really tackle those needs. Because what we have in mind might not be what's really needed. So this time, I don't want to build a product before really understanding the full needs. So that's why we are doing these research interviews. So if you have a company that it's focusing on growth, performance marketing, that you have different acquisition channels, talk with me. We are conducting these research interviews and want to onboard customers in the early phase so that we can build a product with them. And that's it for this episode. I really appreciate you tuning until now. It's not so short episode. It's about this new movement. Really happy to support it. Looking forward to see where B and Matt will bring this to. And until that next time, keep sharing, keep talking, keep interacting, but don't hide yourself only behind your avatar. Be public and try to build undercover this time. Cheers, everyone.